guys, it's Jeff from Motorsports today. Riley Ogle behind the camera, and we are in St. Louis at the WWT Raceway for the Bommarito Automotive Group 500. And Ray kind of stalled everything out at the beginning of the weekend as practice is now happening right behind us. You can see the pit stalls of Pato O'Ward and Callum Ilott. But a lot of anticipation going into this weekend for Indy Next. It's the first oval race of the season. After the Freedom 100 does not exist anymore. So Indy Next had kind of a test session at Iowa just to get the rookies ready for this race. And I'm sorry to break to you folks, but Dennis Hauger was second fastest, not having zero oval experience aside from test. So he's someone to look out for later for Indy Next practice. But going into this weekend, a lot of people are trying to forget their bad days at the last oval track for the Indianapolis 500, especially Andretti, Penske. The last race weekend at Detroit, Alex Palou kind of showed he was human wrecks. And so, can Alex Palou come back? Can these teams who had miserable months at Indianapolis Motor Speedway fix themselves the second oval race of the season? Well, join us throughout the whole weekend to find out.
Outside of Gateway, plenty of eyes were on France this weekend with the 24 Hours of Le Mans. HMD Motorsports driver Josh Pierson participated in the event twice and spoke about the experience with Jeffrey.
Now, I would be remiss not to ask you a question with Le Mans this weekend. So, when you went to Le Mans in 2022, 2023, correct me if I'm wrong, but you were 16 and 17 years old. So, just kind of walk me through what that experience was like, racing in the 24-hour Le Mans.
Yeah, I mean, before we walked up, I was watching the onboard of the McLaren United car, so I definitely miss being there. I love that event. I love endurance racing in general, and my gold status kind of, pushed me away from endurance racing, and my goal's been IndyCar anyway since I was little. So, but I'd love to get back in an endurance car whenever I can, hopefully soon in the future. But it's that's such a unique experience, to have been able to get to do that at 16 and 17 and 22, 23 was something special. It's a lot of drivers, they try their whole life to go compete there and don't get to, and to have had 2 years there, especially, that second year being the centenary year and the 100th anniversary was very special. So I'm disappointed to not be there, but, happy to be here in St. Louis and working towards my IndyCar career.
Jeffrey's full interview with Pierson is available on our YouTube channel. Pierson and IndyCar Series driver Callum Ilott also spoke about what makes Gateway different from other ovals on the schedule.
If you look at the schedule, you have Iowa heavy banked oval, Milwaukee's pretty flat, and Gateway's pretty in between. So what kind of sets Gateway apart in difficulty compared to the other ovals on the schedule?
I think Gateway personally is the most difficult oval we go to because 1 and 2 is so different from 3 and 4. It's the only track that we go to as an oval where it's not symmetrical. It's not really the same on both ends. And, for me, that is really what gives you that challenge of turn 1 and 2 is going to drive very differently than 3 and 4. 3 and 4 here for us is flat. It's not as long as you have the right setup on the car, it should be easy. It's mainly a line thing there, but 1 and 2, you need the line, but you also need to understand how much you can lift, where you have to start that lift, making sure that lift is nice and smooth and progressive, and then the downshifts and doing those at the right time to not shake the car and really result in a nice snap. So, I think Gateway is personally for me the most difficult oval we go to.
How does Gateway compare, challenge-wise, among the ovals on the circuit?
I think this is smooth, unique, probably one of the easier ones to get a good baseline at. Iowa, I don't know with the repave because I haven't done it, and Milwaukee the same for me. I don't know, but it's one of the easier ones. But it's good to get in the process of ovals.
And you didn't come from an oval background, but now you have a couple to your name. So how are you starting to like ovals now?
I love them. I love the short ovals. They were the things that I got acclimated to first, and then from there the 500s have just got better every year. So yeah, I'm enjoying this one. This is one that I've always been strong at but never finished. So I need to do that and get a good result.
Despite Penske's struggles this season, recent history says they're great at this track, and everybody was chasing that team, including Josef Newgarden.
You've won here 5 times. What's kind of made you so successful here?
I mean, you just got to be able to get through traffic. That's gonna matter, tonight in practice and then mostly tomorrow night. So that's what we got to build into the car.
Last month, the series announced that this year's Bommarito 500 would be contested under the lights after being an afternoon race last year. Josef Newgarden, Colton Herta, Rinus Veekay, Felix Rosenqvist, and Kyle Kirkwood all reacted to the change and what effect it would have on the product.
What's the biggest difference we're going to see when shift this race from a late August midday start to a night start?
I always think a nighttime race is more competitive from a racing standpoint. So I think, if anything, you're just going to have an improved show, but hopefully 2 lanes like last year, which is going to be most important.
I think anytime you get an oval race and put it at night, it just races better. The biggest thing is the cooler temps. You get a lot more downforce from that, and the tires work a little bit better too. So it just makes racing a bit better for us.
It's going to be a little bit different. I think it'll be for the good of the whole series. We'll have better air on our wings, and it'll just be less hot and greasy. I think it's going to be really good for everybody out there, and we'll have to make some changes, but it should be fairly minimal.
Do you prefer this race as a night race?
Oh yeah, any night race, night short oval race is awesome.
I think at night everything just gets a bit better. Sometimes it can change the balance a bit more oversteer normally. You have a bit more air hitting that front wing. But hopefully it will help to run 2 lanes. That's kind of my hope, but hard to say. We haven't really focused anything on race running yet, so that'll be the next chapter here.
What am I changing? Nothing really for the time difference. The track just gets more racy at night, and just picks up grip, goes a little bit faster. So, there's not a lot that you can do setup-wise to just predict for the night. But it's going to be important now to get into some race running and see how people stack up. Like I said earlier, this place gets really racy, and especially as the lights go down. So that's something that we need to be ready for.
Kirkwood is the only driver not named Alex Palou to win an IndyCar this year, and even took a moment before speaking with reporters to check on Palou's qualifying time. But with all eyes on Penske, Kirkwood spoke about how he could set himself apart.
First practice, Andretti Global as a team was in the top 10, but what else do you guys think you guys need to do to kind of catch the Team Penske drivers?
They've always been really good here. Like, how many times have they won and got poles here? Not surprised at all, if I'm being honest. So we're doing everything we can. It's not a place that we came and tested. It's not a place that we focused on massively this off season, if I'm being honest, because we knew we were solid. We can still bring the fight to them.
Scott McLaughlin has really struggled as of late, but qualified second for this race and has a good history at the ovals.
You obviously broke through at Iowa last season, but at Gateway specifically, even though you haven't won in 4 starts, you have a 3.5 average finish, never finished below the top 5. So what makes you so good at adapting to new racing disciplines coming all the way from Australian supercars?
I enjoy driving a car fast, or like finding a way to do it, regardless of what it is. I mean, I've always said that I'd race a wheelbarrow if I could. Like, I'm just a racer, and I think I'm racing a Legends car now for no goddamn reason. I'm just doing it because it's fun, and I enjoy trying to learn about a different discipline. My team is fantastic in terms of who I've worked with, Simon, obviously, Joseph, Will, all my teammates that I've had since I've been here in America. Learning off them, looking at the data, working out where I can be better in the video, and I guess I'm a keen study on that stuff. So really have enjoyed getting to grips with the ovals, and like I said before, I probably prefer them now, which is a lot of fun.
Christian Rasmussen and Louis Foster are both young and new to the series and ovals. Jeffrey Hrunka spoke with them about their inexperience and how they're relying on the tutelage of some veteran teammates.
Just kind of walk me through the learning experience.
Yeah, it's been tough so far. We rolled off the truck, not great. I've been around here for a test, and even compared to the test day, I just weren't feeling comfortable in the car right away. So we kind of threw a lot of changes at it here for qualifying, trying to remedy the issues that we had, and I do think it was better car balance-wise, but it's just so hard when you kind of don't really know what to expect out of the car, and you don't really know what you're going to get, and then just to send it flat for these 2 laps. So I think there was more in the car than what I got out of it today, that's a bummer, but we just started on the back foot, not being great in practice 1.
What's the biggest difference between the Indy Next car here and now the Indy car here?
It's way different, for sure. It's obviously the speeds are way higher. It's a heavier car. It's a different tire. There's a lot of differences for sure.
What has kind of Alex been able to teach you here? You know, him having years of experience here at Gateway, and this just being your first time.
Yeah, it's not been too much. It's small stuff here and there, but it's been pretty straightforward. I mean, it's not the first time I'm on a short oval in an IndyCar, even though it's my first time here. I still have experience here from lights and Indy Next and even further back. So I've been around here a lot. It's just we just missed it on the setup in practice and then just started on the back foot.
Do you have to switch your mindset to get kind of that, I guess, to be prepared for ovals when throughout the early part of the season we just haven't had any?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it takes a bit of adjustment, but at the end of the day, this is obviously the most versatile racing on earth, and getting used to driving on ovals is something you got to do. You can't take time to switch into it. You've got to arrive and get on with it. So yeah, obviously it takes a while to just get your feet sunk into them again. But no, I think everyone in this series is at a level where you can hop onto a street course, road course, oval, super speedway, short oval, whatever, and drive fast.
And what have you been able to learn from Graham and Delvin to kind of adjust quicker to this racetrack?
Well, we've kind of been working separately so far. It's been a very busy day right now. But, we've had some comments and discussions with each other. Got a similar feel with the car and the balance. So, I mean, yeah, they're both obviously super helpful to have on the team. And, we support each other as much as possible.
With Alex Palou's dominance, it's easy to overlook some underdog teams that are having great 2025 campaigns. That includes Santino Ferrucci and the AJ Foyt group, as well as Ray Robb and Junko's Hollinger. They both spoke with Jeffrey about their success and looking to continue it at Gateway.
Yeah, obviously we had a really bad practice and just making adjustments. The car was, I guess I'm surprised but not surprised with the engineering team behind us to get it right. And I needed to take off a little bit more in one, and I just got on the apex curb because it turned so well and got sideways. Just decided to keep my foot in it. But yeah, lap 2 was good, so no complaints there.
What's kind of been has there been like a confidence change or an attitude change with your AJ Foyt? 2 podiums in a row by both Malukas and yourself. What's that kind of been like in the garage?
It's been awesome. I mean, obviously we're trying to strive for something better right now, and we had a Q car to start up front and make our day a little bit easier. But no, I think we're going to need to do some work tomorrow and come through the field.
This season, many positives to look at. Again, top 10 at Long Beach, and your teammate Connor Daly had a good run at the 500. So, with his oval specialty, and you guys just be able to maybe looks like you're finding more momentum than Junko said last year. What can you take into this race?
Yeah, I mean, this is essentially our first oval of the season. You can't really count Indy because it's a completely different car there, and you have a whole month to test, at least as long as you can get on track without rain. So we're really limited on our on-track activities here, which is unfortunate. I felt like we rolled off the truck in a rough window. So going into qualifying, I think that we took a swing at it and we missed a little bit, which that's all it takes around this place. It's super tight. That's any oval. It's just not a lot of room for error. So for us, I think that we'll have to work on it in practice too, get the car right, and then race towards the front, and then learn for the rest of the season.
Sunday's proceedings started with a highly compelling Indy Next race where Lochie Hughes used the top side to claim his first oval win and cut Dennis Hauger's championship lead in half.
What do you think? First oval win. You got that out of the way. Check that box, right?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Still, yeah, I don't really know what to say. Still kind of in shock. We were just so far behind in the beginning there, and the car balance wasn't feeling great. And it wasn't till we got to traffic and I was like, I don't really care anymore because I was in 6. So I just started running the high line and I was like, oh, there's some grip out here. And then just, kept the foot into it and got a little bit better with how I was using it. And next minute we were in the lead.
Where did that grip come from? Or was it always there? Was it from the highline practice yesterday, or what?
For sure from IndyCar's highline practice. But it's just one of those things, like these ovals are kind of scary, so you're like kind of scared to go out there, so no one really knows. So like it's always the unknown. You don't know unless you try. So as soon as I put the car there, I was like, it stays. So I just committed to it.
Then it was time for the Bommarito 500 under the lights, one of the best IndyCar races of the year. To start, it was the three Penske drivers and maybe future Penske driver and David Malukas who were fast, but they all had problems. Will Power crashed, Malukas hit the wall, Josef Newgarden flipped, and Scott McLaughlin ultimately had his race end early as well. This opened the door to strategy and some other drivers who got in the mix, including Pato O'Ward and Christian Rasmussen, who came home second and third respectively.
Yeah, I think it was a fantastic race. Hopefully everybody that was watching was well entertained. I was very happy with my car. We were just, going through the motions and happy with what our strategy looked like. And I think we positioned ourselves well to have to have that shot right to win. So happy with this podium. And just another great points day for us. I think Road America is halfway for the championship, but there's plenty of racing to go. I mean, so much has happened already, so I expect the same for the next half of the championship. So all we need to do is just keep on our wagon and keep pushing forward. And we'll see if we're sitting pretty in Nashville.
Christian, welcome. Led a lap tonight. Driver number 21, ECR Splenda Chevrolet. Again, first ever podium from 25th to 3rd. No one would have thought about that. I love the smile you have on your face. I'm not sure you would have thought about a podium. Did you think about you had a podium car or no?
No.
Yeah.
Really.
Okay. Yeah.
You had to go to the back countless times and make your way through the field. How did you not get frustrated with yourself and just, keep yourself in the race throughout the whole night?
I wouldn't say I got frustrated with myself. I definitely got a little frustrated with just having to do it all over again. But on the flip side of that, I knew that I could do it. I knew that I had been moving forward, and I was the car probably in the field that was moving the most forward. So I just kept my head down and kept passing cars. There was no other way around it.
But Kyle Kirkwood and Andretti Global were methodical. Kirkwood running great all race, a money stop at the end, made his headway, got through lap traffic, and held off a hard-charging Pato O'Ward for his third win of the year and his first on an oval. Kirkwood spoke about the strategy play, how he feels he stands in the championship fight, and getting the oval win out of the way finally.
I understood the strategy pretty well. I understood that some of those guys there at the end were trying to make the fuel work, and if they got a caution, they would have. It would have been pretty easy for them to make it to the end if there was just one caution. And as I come down the front straight, I look at the pylon, and when you see other guys, like after you've done your stop and you're like 10 or 15 laps into your stint, you're like, those guys are trying to make it. And now you're looking for those cars. And even though Brian was filling me in on it, I was still paying attention to what was going on out there. But good day. Everything worked to plan accordingly. If I'm being honest, we didn't start with an amazing race car. We finished with one. And that was just due to the work that the crew did and due to the work that Honda did.
First one on an oval, how good is it to kind of, for lack of a better term, shed the street course merchant thing that people have been talking about with you before?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny, right? Like, people, you get on this streak where it's like, oh, he's doing so well, he's winning races, street courses, but then you get at your fourth and people are like, oh, another street course for Kirkwood. It's like not as big of a deal now. It's like, when is he going to win something else? So it like takes away from the street courses. So this was huge for me, right? This was by far bigger than last weekend because of that, right?
Kyle, all night you had to thread through traffic, especially at the end there. How'd you manage, or how did you thread through traffic having to, catch Callum with O'Ward charging behind?
In regards to traffic, we were really fast compared to the guys that we started lapping. I think it would have been harder if we got a little bit further along, right? So if we were maybe starting to lap guys that were running legitimate top 10, it would have been kind of really hard to get by them, and it would have given anybody that was behind me an opportunity to potentially pass. So, it was kind of fortunate situation. We're passing some Hondas that also didn't want to get in our way, and they wanted to see a Honda win. And then right at the end, we caught Siegel, which he was not going to let us by. And fortunately, Pato couldn't catch us quick enough to really make that a factor.
Indy Next and IndyCar very similar this season, but let's first dive into Indy Next. Lochie Hughes won the St. Louis Grand Prix for the Indy Next Series, challenging his teammate Dennis Hauger, as those two remain the only two winners of the Indy Next Series. Doesn't that sound familiar? Same with Kyle Kirkwood, who got his third win this year for the NTT INDYCAR Series race here at Worldwide Technology Raceway for the Bommarito Automotive Group 500. He only led 8 laps, but that's all he needed, as he kind of just stayed quiet, let the leaders such as Josef Newgarden, Scott McLaughlin, Will Power, the Penske trio, make their mistakes, and he just capitalized, took advantage. All he needed was those 8 laps. Pato O'Ward, kind of a swan song for the Mexican driver from Aero McLaren. This is his 4th second place finish, 5th podium here in St. Louis, and he just cannot seem to get it done and roll his car in the victory lane. Finally, Christian Rasmussen. What a day. Started 25th in all 3 sessions during this race weekend, no better than 19th. Well, he surprised everyone by not going through the field once. He went through it twice after he started 25th, had to take emergency pit stop while pits were closed. Well, that sent him to the back. But he rallied back in his number 21 Ed Carpenter Racing Chevrolet for his first career podium after a very strong showing at the first oval race this year, a top 10 effort at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And that is your podium list, but guess what? The championship lead has been cut down even more. Kyle Kirkwood continues going back-to-back for his first oval race, only 75 points behind the Spaniard, Alex Palou, your 3-time champ. Pato O'Ward, 2nd place finisher. Well, he's 2nd in the standings, 73 points back. It's going to be a tight battle, and it's only getting tighter. Let's hope this carries to Road America just next week. But this has been Jeffrey Hrunka, Riley Ogle behind the camera, and this has been our coverage of IndyCar at St. Louis. See you next week for Pocono Raceway, where Adam Tropper, Colin Moore, Tim Moore, and Eddie Kalegi will take you around the Tricky Triangle.